Bookish friends, welcome to another top 5 video. As my theme for September was Social September, I thought in this video I can talk about the top 5 books that I've read in my real life book club. I joined my real life book club in the beginning of 2019, and we have read so many very important books. Because of this book club, I learned to try new genres and new authors. And also there is a very important advantage of joining this book club. Many of the members of the club are my high school friends, and I've rejoined them because of this club. And I've also met many wonderful people who like reading as much as we do. When we were doing social distancing and many of the restaurants were closed, we still did our book club meeting via Zoom, and these meetings were one of the things that kept me going in that crazy times. So let's see which 5 books that I've liked the most that were read in my book club. The book in number 5 is a book that I chose for the club. I read this book in the beginning of 2020. This book was written in 1982. It's an epistolary novel, and this book won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction in 1983, and also the National Book Award for fiction. Color Purple tells the lives of African American women in the early 20th century in Georgia. It tells the story of two sisters, Sally and Lathe, who were separated when they were teenagers, and their story is told from the letters that they have written to each other, and also talks about the lives of the community, especially around Sally, and how different those characters were. I think this book was a very good historical fiction novel, and I gave that book 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed reading it, and I was especially impressed by how the writing style of Celia changed as she matured more and became more educated. Also how her way of thinking changed through the years. We can see this through the letters. Although it talked about the hardships that African American women endured at that time, it also has very strong female characters, which I liked very much. As this book to all historical fiction lovers, and it is unfortunately also a very relevant novel in these times of racism all around the world. The 4th book that I'm going to talk about is titled The Ghosts of Smyrna. It was written by Loren, Edizel. The novel tells the story of the events leading to the Great Fire of Smyrna, which is modern-day Izmir, the city that I'm currently living in, through the trials and tribulations of Levantine family caught up in the turmoil. The fire, which occurred after the end of the Independence War of Turkey, destroyed the lives of the neighborhoods and the lives of many minorities in Turkey. And this book tells the emotional and socially significant and also politically significant story of a Levantine family which had to leave their hometown in order to survive. I enjoyed this book because the Independence War and the foreign occupation of Izmir after First World War was a subject that we were taught through the eyes of the Turkish community. Of course, it was very interesting to see the viewpoint of a minority community which were living actually very peacefully in the city at that time, and because of the ethnic fights between the Turkish community and non-Muslim and Greek and Levantine community. This period destroyed the peaceful lives of people living in Izmir at that time. I really enjoyed this book, and I also felt very emotional and felt so sorry for those times in which the harmony between all of the communities were destroyed because of the effects of the war, of course. So this book affected me a lot, and I gave the book 4.5 stars and then rounded up to 5. And I think it's a very valuable historical fiction novel. As for the third place, we have a modern classic, The End of Eternity by Isaac Asimov. This book was written in 1955 and it has some mystery and thriller elements as well as science fiction structure, of course. And it focuses on the subjects of time travel and social engineering. In this novel, the members of the time-changing organization, which is called Eternity, seek to ensure that the conditions which led to the founding of the Eternity occur as history says they occurred. So they are trying to better the societies in the past, but they also want to make sure that they are founded. It had a very interesting philosophical and social argument in the core, and I also really liked how many of the more current science fiction novels and science fiction works or TV series were so much influenced by that novel. Especially Fringe was heavily influenced by this novel, I think. The book was also quite fast-paced and very engaging to read as well. So that's why I gave the book 4.5 stars. The book at number 2 is Lathe of Heaven by Ursula K. Le Guin. It is a 1971 science fiction novel which received nominations for 1972 Hugo Award and 1971 Nebula Award, which are very significant awards for works of science fiction. And the novel won the Locust Award for Best Novel in 1972. In this book, in a future world racked by violence and environmental catastrophes, George Orwell wakes up one day to discover that his dreams have the ability to alter reality. He seeks help from Dr. William Haber, a psychiatrist who immediately grasps the power of George and tries to manipulate this power first to better the society and then to gain personal power and gain. And George then decides to end this situation, and many things ensue from there. I really like this science fiction modern classic. First of all, I really enjoyed the writing style of Ursula K. Le Guin. The concept of alternate reality in science fiction novels is one of my favorite tropes. I find the idea of having alternate realities very intriguing and mysterious, and also one really wonders if things could have been different if we had made a different choice. I also like the argument that it brings through Dr. Haber. I think he's a very realistic evil character. The fact that his motives are very selfless at first really makes the reader wonder if such power had come to them, how would they react? Anyway, as I've said before, I really enjoyed the book, and I gave the book 5 stars, and it was one of my most surprising books of 2019. The book at number 1 is 1984 by George Orwell. Another modern classic, actually. It is a dystopian novel which was written in 1949, actually. And it was the final book completed by the author. The book follows the life of Winston Smith, a low-ranking member of the party who is also frustrated by constant surveillance of the society which is done by the party. And this society also has a very ominous ruler who is called the Big Brother, and this Big Brother controls every aspect of people's lives. Although this book is at number 1 spot, I cannot say that I enjoyed reading this book the most, but I think the book was very realistic in many ways. That's why reading this book was a very powerful experience for me, emotionally and also mentally, actually. I thought so much about this book after reading the book. Although our protagonist tried to rebel, many people were so comfortable and also very pleased by not having the burden of deciding what to do. I think this book is one of the most important novels in 20th century, which really actually foreshadows the 21st century. Although it's not a very easy read, I would advise this book to readers who like a good social argument. And additionally, I think the writing is very good in this book. It's not overly flowery or overly dramatic, and also it's not simplified either. So I think it has a very good balance. So it's another 5-star book that I read in my real life book club. So those were my top 5 favorite book club books. Please comment down below. Are you also a member of a real life or online book club? And what do you find most intriguing about book clubs? If you're new here, first of all, welcome. Please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish Word of the Day, since 1984 was the book that was on the first spot, I thought 84 should be the Turkish Word of the Day. 84 means 84 in Turkish, and 84 are our Turkish words of the day. Have a good day.